5 Best Android Emulators for Linux 2022 edition, free and paid. List of free and paid Android emulators for Linux desktop. The immense popularity of Android is the reason why developers love it so much. However, as a consumer of these apps, it would not be feasible to run resource-heavy apps on smartphones that you can barely make a call with. And here is where Android emulators for Linux come to the rescue. Android emulators is an application that acts as a real Android device. You can install it on your desktop computer to run Android applications. The best part of it is, it can also run on a low-powered PC. Hence, I have compiled a list of the 5 best Android emulators for Linux operating systems. 5 best Android emulators for Linux 2022. Number 1. Android x86 emulator for Linux. Number 2. Android Virtual Device. Number 3. Genymotion. Number 4. Bliss OS. Number 5. Ambox. Number 1. Android x86 emulator for Linux. Pricing free. Android x86 is one of the best alternatives to other phone emulators. If you want to run Android games or applications, instead of installing on a top of particular OS, it has a separate iOS to boot as a standalone Android operating system. As the name suggests, Android x86 targets the x86 architectures. You can also run it without installing using the Live CD option. By default, it starts with an interface similar to Android Applications Launcher, but you can also change it to the Windows-style desktop. Furthermore, you can also download themes for the Google Play Store. Android x86 provides full support for Google services. Key features of Android x86. Number 1. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth support with GUI. Number 2. Bluetooth G-Sensor support. Number 3. External storage auto mount support. Number 3. External storage auto mount support. Number 4. Theme support to group EFI. Number 5. Pre-installed terminal emulator. Another thing that makes this Android emulator more reliable is timely software updates. Recently, the first stable Android x86 release based on Android Pie 9.0 brought various new features such as experimental Vulkan support for newer Intel and AMD GPUs. Number 2. Android Virtual Device. Pricing free. Android Virtual Device is one of the cleanest Android copies that emulates an Android device and provides almost all capabilities of a real-world Android device. It comes along with Android Studio IDE that you can also use for application development. You can even stimulate incoming phone calls and text messages. Different network speeds, rotation, and other hardware sensors. You can connect external device using a USB to transfer data or debug an Android application. Since the Android Studio is the product of Google, you can expect direct support from Google. Also, Android Virtual Device can be the best choice for developers who want a code editor with extended functionality. A developer can use the virtual device through its graphical user interface or command line for live testing. Moreover, they can also test Android applications based on augmented reality. Key features of Android Virtual Device. Number 1. Direct Google support. Number 2. Easy testing and debugging. Number 3. Navigation gestures. Number 4. Screenshots and screen recording. Number 5. Virtual scene camera and AR core. Additionally, you can also create multiple Android emulators for Linux and other devices, such as Android tablets, Wear OS smartwatches, and Android TV devices. Number 3. Genymotion. Pricing. Desktop starts at $136 per year. Cloud service starts for $0.5 per minute for PaaS and $0.05 per minute for SaaS. If you ever search for the best online Android emulator, I guarantee you that you'll definitely find one common name, that is Genymotion. Genymotion is a commercial product available for both cloud and desktop versions. But one of the reasons I have ranked it lower because it's not open source and free. But being a proprietary emulator, it provides regular support and security. And if you are a professional developer, then I would definitely suggest considering it apart from Android Virtual Device. It also fully supports the Android Studio IDE that developers can use to test and debug Android apps. Not only that, but you can also have ADB access to utilize the testing framework securely. Additionally, Genymotion Android emulator has built-in support for all functionalities such as cellular, Wi-Fi, GPS and SD card support. Key features of Genymotion. Number 1. Wi-Fi and GPS. Number 2. Camera capture. Number 3. Support Android Studio. Number 4. Cloud-based and desktop virtual device. Number 5. SMS and call. If you don't want to install Genymotion desktop, you can also use its Android emulator online to run the application in the browser. Using the Genymotion Cloud, you can enjoy heavy games and apps on a large desktop screens without downloading anything. Number 4. BlissOS. Pricing free. Another alternative to the iOS-based Android x86 that you can also consider is the BlissOS. It supports booting in either MBR or UEFI mode to run Android applications smoothly on any Linux computer or tablet. Apart from normal Android functions, BlissOS has the best cutting-edge user interface. It includes many options for customization and theming. You can also choose between desktop or tablet UI based on the launcher being used. Moreover, BlissOS offers high speed and stability to run popular applications on its free Android emulator. You can even adjust the application size according to your device screen. BlissOS is also available as a custom ROM for Android simulators with unlockable bootloaders. So if you are into rooting your Android device, do make sure to check it out. Key features of BlissOS. Number 1. Polished design. Number 2. Network and Wi-Fi. Number 3. Google Play Store. Number 4. ARM applications. Number 5. Available for both mobile and tablet. To running ARM and ARM64 based applications, you can try the latest beta version of BlissOS based on Android 10. Number 5. Anbox. Pricing free. Anbox is a canonical product that also builds the most famous Linux distro, Ubuntu. But I am still placing it in the last spot because Anbox does not support Google Play Store. It is much like a compatible layer that runs Android applications on any new Linux operating systems. Hence, instead of the Play Store, you need to use the ADB tool to install the app using its downloaded APK. Anbox utilizes the host machine kernel and resources to run Android OS instead of creating an emulated system. As a result of this, Anbox works fluently and swiftly to run apps on its free Android emulator. Additionally, Anbox features a unique model of leveraging LXC containers to separate Android OS from the host machine completely. Doing so works more like a virtual machine and makes users feel like they are using a handheld Android smartphone, making it one of the best Android emulators for Linux. Key features of Anbox. Number 1. Open source. Number 2. Container-based approach. Number 3. Secure and scalable. Number 4. APK application support. Number 5. Cloud version available. You can also install other mobile OS on Anbox, such as Ubuntu Touch, Sailfish or LuneOS. Anbox is also the best Android emulator for Kali Linux. Want more Android emulators? In the end, I would also like to mention other available top Android emulators for Linux that could turn out to be quite handy. To name a few, there is Archon, AndyOS and many more, but they are still under development and others have limited capabilities. There are also some Android x86 based Android OSs out there like PrimeOS and PhoenixOS, but most of them are running far outdated versions of Android 7.0 Nougat. If you want an Android emulators for other platforms, you can check out the videos in my channel. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.